What is autism?
I don't really know.
But I really don't know what it means. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Oh wait, I don't know what that is.
It's this thing, it's a disorder.
This makes you a bit off in the mind.
Like you don't think. Mental disease.
A bunch of different diseases that go on the spectrum.
I think it's a condition, a social condition. It makes it harder for children to socialize with other children and probably to learn.
It can alter your hearing and your coordination.
A child that didn't develop normally, who didn't have meet her milestones.
In schools, we mostly see it affecting social interactions among students.
Something in the brain that causes children to have learning disabilities and usually social disabilities.
They have like a mental disability, so they don't think like the way that we think, so they have a little trouble learning.
It just makes them a little bit different and it makes them a little bit special.
What is autism? Autism is not contagious. It's a developmental disorder that often makes it hard to communicate and relate to others. With autism, the brain handles information differently. This video is a guide to help people recognize, communicate with, and understand people with autism. Most people will come in contact with at least one person with autism in their life. As of 2012, 1 in 252 girls and 1 in 54 boys have autism, and the numbers are increasing. No two people with autism are alike or have the same characteristics. There's a big spectrum. There are people who can't live by themselves, but there are also quite a few doctors with autism. 62% of all people with autism do not have an intellectual disorder, who are smart or smarter than average. Just because someone has autism doesn't mean they can't have amazing talents.
Stephen Wiltshire spent 3 days drawing this panoramic view of Madrid. Painstakingly detailed, it was penned entirely from memory. Wiltshire memorized this vast cityscape during a 30-minute helicopter ride.
You memorize it, all of that in your head. Is that easy or is that hard?
Easy.
I'm working on a new album.
You're working on your own album?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
15 tracks.
Do you have the name of any of the songs?
One of my songs will be called Worldwide Celebration Anthem.
My name is John Patrick Munley. I am an Asperger's syndrome boy, and I'm 16 years old. In fact, I'm a writer. I write and illustrate children's books under the pen name Paul O'Sealy.
I spoke to Dr. Jed Baker, PhD, a nationally renowned autism educator, author, and director of the Social Skills Training Program to get his insight on autism.
Based on something Temple Grandin once said, she's a very famous, very bright woman with autism. What Temple Grandin said is if there weren't people with autism, throughout history, people might have been socializing so much that we might not have invented the wheel, invented fire, invented the automobile, invented the internet. You know, it may be that some of the breakthroughs, the creative breakthroughs in our time, are because of people whose minds are not always so social, but have a stuckness, a desire for sameness in certain areas, and that allows them to make some incredible discoveries and incredible creations.
So, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with me? Well, that person that you may ignore because you think they're weird or make fun of is actually a person who has feelings and deserves to be treated fairly, and could be someone you would really like. Would you want someone not to get to know you or be your friends because you bite your nails? There are certain general behaviors and common signs that many people with autism have or do, such as avoiding eye contact. They also may not respond the way we would expect them to, because some have difficulty interpreting what others are thinking and feeling, because they can't understand social clues, such as tone of voice or facial expression. Sarcasm is a good example. Sarcasm can almost be like texts for people with autism. Many cannot always tell the tone and if they're being sarcastic or not. They can't tell if there's a smiley face at the end of the sentence. Does all caps always mean someone's yelling at you? There are common behaviors that are called self-stimulatory behaviors. These include flapping, snapping, vocal sounds, rocking back and forth from side to side, putting things in their mouth, smelling things, staring at lights or fans, repeating portions of books or songs, and tapping things. Self-stimulatory behaviors, also known as stimming, helps to relieve anxiety and tension. It's calming. It organizes thoughts and sensory information. It blocks out overstimulating environments, and it moves attention away from distractions. Do you have anything that you do to deal with being nervous, or when you're impatient or excited? Are there any habits and behaviors that you do to deal with being stressed about getting back your math test? Or looking at the clock and waiting for that 1 minute until school's over? Or waiting online and not having anyone to talk to? If you think about it, stimming is something just about everyone does when they're nervous, bored, or excited. People with autism doing things like flapping are handling their emotions just differently than most do. If everybody flapped their arms when they were excited, nobody would look at them funny. These stimulatory behaviors helps them manage sensory overload and too little sensory input. It is common for many people with autism to have hypersensitivity or hyposensitivity. If someone is hyposensitive, they could break a bone and not even feel it. Because they have such a desire to feel, you may see someone with hyposensitivity biting their arm or banging their head against a wall because they just want to feel something.
I remember a youngster who felt very little pain, and a tooth had come out, and they were bleeding and didn't feel it, didn't seem to experience any pain. And that can be sometimes dangerous if you don't experience pain, because pain helps us to stay away from kind of dangerous things.
Hypersensitivity is the opposite. It's when someone's sensory awareness is so acute that their senses are intensified. Hypersensitivity is where smell, taste, vision, hearing, and touch may be above normal. I bet you always thought having superpowers were cool. But what if you didn't have control of the superpowers, and they all kicked into 100% at the same time? This is how hypersensitivity might feel, like out-of-control superpowers.
My hearing may be hyper or cute. People are talking at once. Cash registers beep and cough. Someone's yelling samples. Shopping carts bump into each other. Doors slam open and shut. Cans drop. Babies wail. Fluorescent lighting hums. Senses smell may be highly sensitive. The fish at the meat counter isn't quite fresh. Guy standing next to us hasn't showered today. The deli is handing out sausage samples. Baby in the line ahead of us has a dirty diaper. They're mopping up barbecue sauce on aisle 8. Moldy cheese under the counter breeze was spraying. Can't sort it all out. I am dangerously nauseated. The fluorescent light is not only too bright, but it buzzes and hums. The room seems to pulsate and it hurts my eyes. The pulsating light bounces off everything and distorts what I'm seeing. The space seems to be constantly changing.
Let's just say I'm out in the supermarket with my son. Now, he's 15 years old. It's so loud, it's noisy, and there's lights flashing. Well, he goes down on the floor, and he really is having a tantrum on the floor. Everybody's looking. Everybody's wondering why he's screaming. Why is this 15-year-old acting the way he is? Well, he has autism, and it's really difficult for him. If it was a 3-year-old, I don't think people would be looking a second time, but he's 15-year-old.
If you don't understand them, you may think that the person having a tantrum in the grocery store is weird or spoiled.
So I think we all should think twice before we cast judgment, before we're talking, before we're staring, before we're making fun, because really there may be much more going on.
It's common for people seeing someone with a special need that they don't know about to think, oh my gosh, it's so annoying, they have to sit in the same seat all the time, or why are they getting upset over something that's so simple?
So if you imagine someone with autism is sitting in your class, and maybe they have sensory issues, so it's already too loud for them, too noisy. Maybe they have some difficulty with writing, so they're anticipating that they have to write something, and they're stressed out by this. And your teacher says, today, in your journal, instead of just writing who, what, when, where, and why, I want you to give your opinion about the article that you wrote. And that kid's hand goes up and says, oh, no, that's not what we do. We just write who, what, when, where. Who, what, when, and why. And the teacher says, no, I want your opinion about the article. And the kid says, no, that's not what we do, because now there's something different. And that kid will have to expend energy and think about what to do, when all his energy is just being put into just trying to sit still and deal with the sensory issues.
By understanding why people with autism might get upset by things like this, you really can have a positive impact on their lives and encourage others around you to do the same. It's hard enough going to school anyway. It's hard enough making friends and being social and fitting in anyway. Imagine if you were just dropped right now into a school in Japan, You don't understand where the in and out door is, how to get anywhere, and where you should be going, but you don't know how to ask for help. You are expected to go to class, but you don't understand anything or have any idea where to go or what to do. Everyone was talking to you and getting mad at you for not answering them, thought you were ignoring them, or thought you were a complete idiot. You tried to express what you were feeling, but while you were trying, you saw people turn to their friends and laugh, making fun of you. Even though you had something to say in your brain, and you knew exactly what you wanted and needed, you didn't know how to tell them. These examples are not trying to exactly explain what it's like, but of the feeling of being overwhelmed by something that's completely normal to everyone around you. How can you communicate, be friendly, and interact with kids with autism? Well, it's different with every single person and every single special need, so it's hard to say. But by keeping an open mind and understanding that they may not communicate the same way you do can really help. And just being yourself goes so far. One way you can be more understanding is by being aware that many people with autism might get stressed without structure. For example, it may stress them out if you say, "Want to go downtown and hang out?" There are so many options. What would be less stressful for them would be to tell them exactly where you would be going. First, we'll go to Starbucks and get hot chocolate, then to Barron's to get candy, and then my mom will come and pick us up. I'm not saying this is something all of us can really do, plan out exactly where we're going to go every single day, but it's important to understand what an open-ended question may mean for someone with autism.
Everybody has abilities, everybody has challenges, and very often when we think about a person with a disability or a person with autism, we're thinking about the things that they can't do. I think we all need to spend some time and say, hey, let's look beyond that and let's look at the things that they like, the things that we might have in common.
Well, what do all middle schoolers want? What do all of us want? When we're in a school environment or work environment, most of us want to be accepted. We want to be liked. For someone with autism, maybe the way to connect with them is based on their interest. And maybe they don't want to play kickball or football. Maybe that's not going to be their thing. So instead of trying to get folks with autism always to fit in, sometimes it's better for us as middle schoolers or as a community to reach out.
Being autistic is not them. It's not who they are. It's what they have and the way their brain is different. They're a person with Asperger's, a person with Rett syndrome, a person with pervasive developmental disorder. Each individual has a personality, and likes and dislikes, and a favorite food. And some love bugs or parrots or cupcakes. Some love Michael Jackson, just like someone without autism. And each person is a person. And people are interesting, people are funny, and people are worth the effort.
Everybody sees exactly what they please from just one point of view. That's just what people do. But if you seek to find the common ties that bind, then you will come to see I'm just like you. That's what friends do. Take the time to see that if you look behind my differentness, there will be a reflection sharp and clear of all the hopes and dreams you hold so dear. Open the door, open your eyes, open your heart and mind, and you will find no surprise. Everybody sees exactly.
Real name is AJ Avery James Rizzolo.
I love Justin Bieber.
I love children.
I like to play on swings, play with Melinda, play with Jessica and Adriana. I like to eat snacks, look at the window, and drink some water.